Hello, welcome to week 4 of our course. I look forward to working with you during this week. During this week of the course, we will be focusing on Mexican immigration to the United States from the late 19th century through the 20th century, and even up to the present. Starting in the mid-19th century and continuing up to the present, millions of Mexicans have immigrated to the United States. The primary driving force in this immigration has been the search for economic opportunity. It's been the predominant motivating factor for immigration from Mexico to the United States. And the United States government and society has sent very mixed messages to Mexicans who are interested in coming to the United States and settling in the United States, either as temporary workers or as permanent settlers and residents. On the one hand, American businesses, and at times the American government, has encouraged Mexicans to enter the United States to provide labor. There are often labor shortages in the south and southwestern United States, particularly in the fields of agriculture, also in mining and industry. And American businesses and the United States as a whole certainly has benefited and profited from the labor provided by Mexican immigrants to the United States. So on the one hand, there's been a sort of encouragement of Mexican immigration to the US. At the same time, throughout this period, there has been nativism and hostility directed towards Mexican immigrants. Mexican immigrants have faced discrimination, hostility, segregation, various abuses of human rights when coming to the United States. And on several occasions, there have been efforts to deport large numbers of Mexican Americans to Mexico. This typically has taken place during periods of economic depression, such as the Great Depression. This has been a constant tension in American history from the mid-19th century to the present. Remember, in the mid-19th century, the United States gained control over territories that had previously been part of Mexico through war, through the Texas Rebellion and ultimately the Mexican War. Since that time, millions of Mexicans have come to the United States. Any rational economic analysis suggests that this immigration has been very beneficial to the United States, that the United States has profited and benefited in economic and cultural terms from this immigration of Mexicans to the United States. Yet, I think in part due to racism, there's been a continuing hostility directed towards Mexican immigrants during this time as well. So, Mexican immigrants have faced a pull to come to the United States, economic opportunity, and often encouragement from the American businesses and at times the US government, but at the same time faced hostility and discrimination as well. Obviously, this is an issue that's very relevant today. Of course, with the current administration, there's been a good deal of hostility directed towards Mexican immigrants. The Trump administration has made some hostile statements towards Mexican immigrants and towards this community. And unfortunately, tragically, we see this nativism has been increasing in recent decades. This hostility to Mexican Americans has been increasing in recent decades. So this is not just a historical issue. It's an issue that affects millions of people's lives today, and really, I think, is of great importance to all Americans. And all Americans who have an interest in protecting human rights and civil liberties. Um, so I look forward to working with you during this unit. I hope it will be informative and interesting.